Hello everybody, it's Rachel, the Student Witch. Welcome back to my channel. And if my voice feels kind of weird or sounds kind of weird, sorry. My brain isn't really working that well because I'm starting to get sick. And so I've been taking care of a poor sick Chilean man, aka my husband, for the past few days because he teaches undergraduates here at the university. In the town where we live, and of course the undergrads live in dorms and are covered in germs, and then they get everybody else sick. So he got sick because some of his students got sick, and now I'm starting to get sick. And this particular cold virus takes forever to finally knock you upside the head with really bad symptoms. Like, you'll start feeling crappy for about 2 or 3 days, and then it slowly starts to crescendo. So I know about 2 or 3 days from now I'm going to feel like shit. So I want to record this now before I reach that point, because this weekend, either September 1st or 2nd, I want to upload this video because I am so excited. I'm starting a new series on my channel which will have its own playlist. It will be called Witchy Studies. This is something I mentioned in my most recent newsletter for those who subscribed to my newsletter via my website, linked below. But yeah, I am starting a Witchy Studies series. This is something that I figured some people might be interested in. It's going to help hold me accountable to keep up with my own studies, but it's going to go at a slow enough pace for me to accomplish everything that I need to accomplish when it comes to my research and my academic work, while also keeping up with my personal witchy studies. So, all that being said, this video is about witchy study journals, and I actually first got the idea to make this video probably about half a year or more ago. I was watching the Sacred Seed channel, Elle at the Sacred Seed. I'll have the specific video that she made that inspired my video linked below, but if you've never heard of the Sacred Seed channel, hosted or created by Elle, she hasn't been active. She hasn't posted a video since, maybe last December. So she hasn't been as active as she used to be. But if you're into tarot porn, like deck flip-throughs and walkthroughs, but also like really in-depth discussions, I highly recommend her channel. You can get to her channel through the link that I'll have below. But awesome channel for tarot enthusiasts. But Elle mentioned, and she created a video about her own tarot study journals. I think that's what she called them. It's been a really long time since I saw the video. But they're basically her personal journals where she would write her notes when she was reading books about the tarot. So that kind of inspired me to get these books. These are Artist Loft notebooks. If you live in the United States and you live near a Michael's arts and crafts store, these notebooks are only $5. You can get them, well, the Michael's near my neighborhood when I was still living up in Boston had a whole planner and kind of like bullet journal section within the store, and they kept the journals there. But the Michael's down here in Georgia, they just recently renovated and reopened one in my town here, but they keep these in the fine art section, so the section where you're going to find all the fancy paint brushes and oil paints and all that stuff. So check out your Michael's if you live near a Michael's, but this is basically the Michael's brand of something like a Moleskine or a Leuchtturm, or however the hell you say the other brand that's really big with bullet journalers, bullet journal enthusiasts. But the bonus about the Michael's brand is that it is only $5. And that is the permanent price. The price will never change. Well, hopefully. But that means you can't use coupons when you're buying these because they're already so cheap. But at $5 compared to the nearly $20 you're going to spend on a Moleskine, you know, you can't beat it. So just a quick comparison. Oh, by the way, I posted a picture of this on my Instagram. So that's included below if you want to see the actual like brand sticker on it, just so you can find it easier at the store. But let's do a quick comparison of kind of the paper between the Moleskine and the Michaels Artist Loft $5 notebook. Let's see. Alright, here's a blank page toward the back of my Moleskine. This is a gridded paper Moleskine. I believe it's A5 size. This is my current bullet journal. Last week, or a week or so ago, I posted a video just talking about my different planners that I have, so I'll have that linked up here below. And if you're interested in the types of materials I use, like the pens and stuff, I'll also link up here a video I made in January just kind of giving you a walkthrough of my current bullet journal setup. And I plan to do something similar once the new year comes, 2019, and I'll post another setup video. But as you can see, the Moleskine, well, I hope you can see, the lighting isn't the best in here, but it has more of a cream color to it, or an off-white color. It's not as bright white as the Artist Loft journal. And the Artist Loft journals, I believe they come in lined, so like traditional college ruled paper, like lined paper, blank, or the dotted paper, which this is the dotted paper. Let me zoom in here. So this is the Moleskine, this over here is the Artist Loft. The Moleskine is also a little bit, oops, sorry, I'm like straddling a tripod here. But the Moleskine is a little bit taller and thinner than the Artist Loft. But those are kind of the main differences. So if you want to start bullet journaling, or just start your own Witchy Studies journals, but you're on a budget, check out Michael's if you live near one. But at the end of the day, you don't really even need to invest $5. You can just go down to the dollar store or a Walmart or a grocery store and get a composition notebook for $1 and do exactly the same thing. Just being real. So anyway, how do I use my 4 Witchy Studies journals? So each of these journals is dedicated to a different theme. So this kind of navy blue journal is dedicated to my studies of the tarot. It has kind of 2 extra blank pages, and then it has a built-in index. For those familiar with bullet journaling, you know the index is very important, and the index has 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and then at the beginning, or the first page, I have the first tarot book that I was reading. I did not finish it. And actually, this is a good point to mention this. One of the reasons why I got these Witchy Studies journals was because I have the nasty habit of starting a book, getting like a third or halfway through it, and then I get distracted or busy. I put the book down and I don't start rereading it until 6 or 7 months later. I cannot tell you the number of times I did something like that. So I wanted a place to record my thoughts and the key ideas in the different chapters or sections of the book I was reading, so that way I not only remember it better, because I'm the type of person that remembers something if I kind of write it myself. That's how I studied. But also I can come back here and refer to those key points in the chapters that I read 6 or 7 months ago, refresh my memory, and then continue on with the book. So the very first book I started reading but did not finish reading was The Tarot, History, Symbolism, and Divination by Robert M. Place. And then for each book, or at least this is my format so far, for each book in each one of these journals, I want to give an at-a-glance section, which I don't fill in until I've finished the book, because I kind of write down my overall impressions. Did I like the book? Did I find it helpful? And then I also include the big takeaways. So what are like 2 or 3 of the key points that really struck me as I was reading the book? Or what were the key points of the author's argument that they were making as they went through the book, right? So for the tarot, history, symbolism, and divination, I got through chapter 4. Yeah, I read and took notes on the first 4 chapters. So I just have the chapter title, and then the bullet points of the key points that, that were important for me and what I got out of it. And then once I'm done with the book, I fill out this top portion. So if need be, years from now, if I wanted to refresh my memory on this book by Robert M. Place, assuming I finished it, I could even just read this at-a-glance section and refresh my memory, right? And then if I wanted to go even more detailed, I can go through the chapter notes here. I forgot to mention that there are 2 of these ribbon bookmarks. So I use one to keep the index page that I'm on, and then the other one for the actual page that I'm writing on at the current time. So this is my tarot journal. And then the gray colored one is about myth, archetype, psychology, and self-study. For some reason, those all kind of jive together for me, and I cannot wait to dive into The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and some other works by, oh my lord, his name is escaping me. Hold on, I'm gonna have to Google this. Okay, I didn't even have to fully open up Google on my phone. I remembered Joseph Campbell, Jesus. Well, this might be a good time to plug in or include some more information about my Witchy Study series. So the Witchy Study series is going to be divided into units, like courses that you would take. I am a super geek dork nerd, so I am in academia and I love studying and I love the school year. So that's kind of how I like to organize things, is according to the academic year. And so starting off this fall, the fall of 2018, the fall in the northern hemisphere, we are starting off with Chaos and Chaos Magic, and that is Unit 1. And basically the idea is I read 2 or 3 books, and I also work with a specific tarot or oracle deck. And then at the end of each unit, I will create a YouTube video talking about my first impressions of the books. Do I recommend the books? How important were they? How did they relate to my spirituality, my craft, or whatever? And the same with the tarot or oracle deck. And then I will also have all of that in written form, probably going into a little bit more depth on my blog, on my website, linked below. So I'm hoping sometime around Mabon or the equinox in September, I will have my first Witchy Studies blog post about Chaos and Chaos Magic and the books and the tarot deck that I'm working on for that. And I'll also be sure to include some key quotes, like maybe 1 or 2 quotes that really struck me as I was reading that particular book on the blog post, because I really like kind of the feeling that I get. If I'm on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to like a book, I'll just open to a random page and kind of read through it, and whatever jumps out at me will kind of helps you to like get the vibe of the book and see if that vibe will vibe with your vibe, right? So I like to include some key quotes in addition to a very brief summary about each of the books that I studied or read for that unit. And that's just to kind of, if if you're interested in chaos and chaos magic and you read my blog post or you listen to my video, it might give you a better idea as to whether or not you're interested in those particular books or not, right? Or tarot deck, right? Or oracle deck. So I'm not designing these witchy studies units as an expert teaching. Like, this is just me offering you guys the passenger seat in my car as we go on this ride together, and just sharing my experiences as I'm reading and studying some of these books and materials for the first time, right? So anyway, Joseph Campbell. That's the idea behind the Witchy Studies series. So eventually I will have a unit about myth, specifically the works of Joseph Campbell, because I have listened to his interviews with, oh, I can't remember, but they're on Netflix currently, and you can also download the audio version of that on Audible. What is it called? The Power of Myth, I believe, is the interview. Really amazing. That's what really turned me on to Joseph Campbell. So eventually I will read A Hero with a Thousand Faces, but also a couple of his other major works, and I'll have a whole unit about that. I do have an upcoming unit, or at least I think it's upcoming, about transpersonal psychology, because I have a few books about that, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, be on the lookout for all of this, and I hope you find this interesting and helpful. So yeah, the gray notebook is about that. The purple notebook, it kind of looks bluish through my camera lens, but in person it looks purple, believe me. This is about spiritual philosophies and traditions. And the first work that I have on here is The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching by, oh, I'm going to butcher this, Thich Nhat Hanh. I know he's a very, very well-known Buddhist monk and writer from Vietnam. Very well-known. I actually already read his book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, which I might have to take a few notes on and add in here. But I have actually, as part of my Chaos and Chaos Magic unit, I have the 7 Life Lessons of Chaos. So I'll actually take notes on that before I go back to the Heart of the Buddhist Teaching, because Unit 2, so for the second half of this fall semester, is actually going to be Buddhism, secular Buddhism, and meditation and mindfulness. So I'm super excited about that. It's something that I've been wanting to study and really dive into for a long time. So finally, this black notebook I have for the craft. So this will be dedicated for books and materials explicitly on magic and witchery. So the first book I have on here is Condensed Chaos, classic, and then Hands-on Chaos Magic, which is a book I'm working on right now. I'm about 10 short chapters away from the end, and those are both going to be included in my first unit video and blog post about chaos and chaos magic. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful, and I'm super excited for this series. This will not only help me kind of keep up with my own personal witchy studies, but it'll also help me to kind of bring some more organization to this channel. So every 2 or 3 months, you're guaranteed, hopefully, a video on my witchy studies and my thoughts on different books and tarot and oracle decks, in addition to a blog post on my website. So I'm super excited. If you have your own personal witchy studies technique, it doesn't have to be a physical journal. It could be your own personal blog or some sort of note-taking system, just to help you keep up with your own personal reading and your spiritual and magical witchy studies. Let me know below. I'm super interested. Again, I'll include Elle's video from the Sacred Seed down below, the video that inspired this video. And until next time, many blessings. Bye.